Week 3 of the 2021 NFL season is now in the books, and at this time, I'm going to give my bullet points to put a cherry on top of the Sunday that was. Or can you put a cherry on top of a Monday? Okay, guys, I promise I'm done. I will take any donations for tomatoes in the comment section below. No more jokes. Let's get right into business here. Bullet point number 1, New York football. So bad, it's bad twice. I feel bad for you guys in the Big Apple because this is going to be a long, drawn-out, and very, very rough year to watch. I know it's week 3. A lot can change between now and the month of January when the playoffs start. But I look at both of these teams, and I don't see anything that gives me much in terms of optimism. On one hand, you've got the Giants, who had a complete and utter dumpster fire of a training camp. You want to know what happened there, feel free to look it up if you don't already know, because I could make an entire 15-minute video on some of the nonsense that went down there. They should have been on Hard Knocks. That would have been must-see TV. Unfortunately, the on-field product has been anything but must-see TV. In fact, it's been sloppy. It's been rough to watch at times. Yeah, I know they went out there in week 2 and put on a show against Washington, losing by a point. But weeks 1 and 3 have been they've been bad to watch. Daniel Jones, I mean, again, I know he had that very strong week 2. If you've got him on fantasy, his ability to run has made him somewhat of a commodity as a backup. But at this point in his career, it's make or break. This was a top 10 pick not that long ago. But let's be honest, the patience level for rookie quarterbacks on a rookie deal is not what it used to be. You're not going to see 5 or 6 seasons for them to turn it around. And Jones is at that point where he is at the make or break stage. If things don't improve, I fully see the Giants moving on and getting a Spencer Rattler, a Sam Howell, or somebody along that line in the draft this year. I really do. And on top of things, look, the Giants continue to play at this level with what's gone on off the field. I could certainly see another head coaching change happening sooner rather than later. Probably even during the regular season if things don't immediately pick up. And you look at their schedule, it does not get any easier from here. They've got a rough road ahead of them. Meanwhile, you look across town at the Jets, and welcome to the NFL, Zach Wilson. Welcome to the head coaching ranks, Robert Saleh. I think Saleh has potential to be a very, very good coach. He's not Adam Gase, guys. He's really not. This guy has talent. He has that motivational factor. He is a coach of men, but if this is a baptism by fire, then he certainly went into a blazing inferno because this franchise is a mess. And you look at what's going on the field. They haven't scored a touchdown since late in the fourth quarter of week number 1, a game that was already pretty much out of wraps at that point, was out of reach. And last 2 weeks, 0 touchdowns, 6 interceptions for Zach Wilson. Has a quarterback rating in the last 2 weeks of 39.6. Has a quarterback rating on the season of just a little bit over 51%. League average is in the 80s, guys. This is very bad. You're not in Pro Bowl anymore, my friend. I'm sorry to say that. And meanwhile, we look at what Sam Darnold is doing in Carolina. More on that in a couple of moments. But it's just a bad start for the Jets. And again, they're another one I don't see getting any easier from here. I'll give Wilson some credit. I mean, he's taking the booze in stride. New York has already turned on him like a rabid Wolverine. Is it unfair? I mean, perhaps 3 games in is a small sample size. But it's New York, man. Produce or get the hell out of the way. That's the way things go there. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. But believe me when I tell you, the expectations are sky high. Now New York fans are looking at what Darnold's doing, and they're looking at what Wilson's not. I mean, it's going to be a rocky road from here. Very far-fetched possibility that both teams could be winless 0-18 heading into the month of December. That's wild. Very, very wild. Point number 2, since I brought him up, Sam Darnold, man, what a change of scenery has done for this guy. Actually getting with a coaching staff that knows what the hell they're doing. Darnold so far is looking and showing glimpses of being the quarterback everybody thought he was going to be at USC. He's been proficient. He's been accurate. He's spreading the ball around in the Carolina offense. He made Dan Arnold a freaking tradable commodity. Think about that. They got a player that was a top 10 pick. More on that in a few minutes. For a guy who is a journeyman because of what Sam Darnold has done with him so far 3 games in. And again, what a difference an actual coaching staff with competency will do for a career. Point number 3, what the hell's going on in Jacksonville? Does anybody have a clue? Yes, I get it. They look competitive against a good Arizona team. In fact, they actually were leading 19-10 before the wheels completely fell off the bus. Yet, on top of being winless, on top of the fact that Trevor Lawrence has a quarterback rating in the 50s, is on pace for 40 interceptions this year, and is, so far looking very, very shaky to start off his career. Urban Meyer just went out and, as I mentioned before, traded the number 9 overall pick from last year's draft, C.J. Henderson, for Dan Arnold, a journeyman tight end, and a third-round pick. By the way, the Jaguars also tossed a fifth into that mix as well. Is it any more clear that Urban Meyer has no business being in the NFL game, or is it just me being overreactionary here? Because 3 weeks in, problems off the field, ridiculous personnel decisions. It's clear to me this guy should be in the college ranks. And frankly, let's be blunt here. 32 losses in his career. At this pace, he's on his way to possibly, I don't think they're going to go winless, but if he stays around the full year, I certainly see a 13-loss season. I mean, again, it's a guy that had 32 his entire career. He had 9 losses in Ohio State. He'll eclipse that by the month of December at this point if he sticks around. I'm just going to say that USC job, man, it's looking pretty. He lived in L.A. for a few years. He seemed to love it there. This guy is not one that deals with losing very well. When the seat gets warm, he goes running out of town. Keep an eye on that. And you know what? Honestly speaking, if he does pull a Bobby Petrino and bolt the hell out of Dodge before the season, his first season even has a chance to conclude, that might be for the best for Jacksonville, because it's clear, as I said before, this man is one of the many college coaches who is 6 degrees in over his head and doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And you know what? He's not the first. I mean, the second greatest Florida coach in Florida Gators school history, Steve Spurrier, also flopped in the NFL. Lou Holtz flopped in the NFL. The aforementioned Bobby Petrino. I mean, look, for every Jimmy Johnson, there are 10 Petrinos or Lou Holtzes that just, they think they give it the old college try and tank out and wind up back in a college game. It happens. But for Jacksonville's sake, I think that's for the best at this point, because 3 games in, I'm just seeing more problems than it's worth. Last but not least, man, speaking of coaches that could be on their way out sooner rather than later, Matt Nagy, Chicago. Welcome to the NFL, Justin Fields. 1 passing yard. 1. I feel bad for the Bears, because you know what? This is a storied franchise that has talent on the field. I mean, they have a ton of talent on the field. Allen Robinson may be the best wide receiver that nobody talks about in the league. Mooney looks to be a pretty strong number 2. They've got a good running game. I mean, this team should not be throwing for 1 passing yard. I know their offensive line did them no favors. That's what knocked that number down. But still, it's not like Fields was going out there and throwing for 400 or 500 yards and got knocked. I mean, he was not having a good game. And it's going to happen. He's a rookie. Making, the transition from college to the NFL when you're first getting started is rough. Again, look at Wilson. Look at Lawrence. They made it, Lawrence, at least in his case, made it look simple in college. Dominated. Now, the pace in the NFL is a lot different, but I'm not going to rule Fields out, but I am going to tell you this. Matt Nagy on the hottest of hot seats coming into the season. The Bears have looked sluggish. They've looked lackluster. They've looked completely garbage on offense. And this was against the Browns secondary that, isn't exactly amongst the NFL's elite. So if I'm Matt Nagy, I'm starting to polish up that resume real quick, because I think his days in the Windy City are coming to a crashing halt. Anyway, guys, that wraps it up for now. If you like what you heard, please do me a favor and click that bell notification button, as it will keep you up to date with my newest content. Also, as always, if you could share the word, also like, share, and subscribe, because it does help me with that always needed YouTube algorithm. Until next time, my name is JP. Thank you for tuning in to Bullet Points, and we will speak again soon.